It's interesting, with Harry and Meghan because, as we now know, they simply wanted to create some kind of private life, details away from the British monarchy. When they were living over here in the United Kingdom, albeit for that very short period as working royals, they did their very best to remain out of the spotlight. According to Meghan, she was hardly seen for months on end. And then it came down to that thorny subject of their children. Archie and Lilibet, and as she openly spoke with Oprah Winfrey and said she didn't want to put her children up there for ridicule, just for the fact that there was a photo opportunity. In fact, she went further in other interviews, claiming that simply she could not really think about living here in the United Kingdom because, of course, when you think about it, the problems that would ensue would be all the photographers snapping every single day while she took her two children to school. Obviously didn't bother looking once again into royal protocol because, as most people know, there's an agreement with the tabloid and, of course, the broadsheet press, and that simply doesn't happen. Not a problem for Meghan, though. But now the bigger problem, of course, is for Prince Harry, and once again his publisher's Penguin Random House, because obviously he's infringed his own privacy. Once again, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. Nice to have your company. I think these people are two of the most famous children that we've barely seen in the world. When you think back to famous children, celebrities, that sort of stuff, you do look at people and think, wow, they were huge, weren't they? The likes, of course, of Shirley Temple in the 1930s. And, when you think about the 1930s, 40s, Judy Garland, yes, who remembers her, of course? The gorgeous Judy, Margaret O'Brien, Little Rascals, everybody, all children became really famous at some point. And that was the case with royal family children, not in the case of Meghan and Harry. But now there's real sort of speculation regarding those children and exactly why Harry is only given very scant details in that autobiography Spare. When you think about it, he doesn't necessarily go into much detail about the joyous moment and the lead up to the pregnancy. We don't hear about any problems ensuing, of course, for Meghan herself, do we? Naturally, there would have been concerns being an older mother, all of that sort of stuff. But here's, as ever, where it gets truly interesting, because even Harry then decides to detail in great detail about the birth of his children. And when you think about it, the laughing gas story simply can't be true. I'm sure he did have a bit, but leaving Meghan with none, once again, seems a little bit scant. The speed of the delivery of the children, again, one wonders, was he actually there, or was he just high as a kite on laughing gas or something else? Who knows, allegedly. But as I say, it becomes more and more detailed. And the fact that obviously Harry and Meghan claimed that they didn't want their own children exploited, but then were more than happy for them to be exploited openly on that Netflix documentary, the docu-series. And when you think about that, could there ever been a more exploitative sort of look? Before that, we'd only ever seen pictures of back of heads and one major shot of Lilibet allegedly in Windsor when she was over here the last time. And allegedly at that point she met our late and wonderful Her Majesty the Queen. But once again, Harry has failed to give the detail about the run-up to those very famous pregnancies. And more importantly, why did Meghan not fill him in on some of the details that could have been more co-parenting, co-sharing about what she went through, particularly as she claimed there were quite lonely pregnancies in those interviews because she was trapped and shut away from all of her friends with no passports and no therapist on hand. One has to say the whole background to the way that they've decided to introduce their children into the public domain is very strange indeed. And again, it's something that the publishers, Penguin Random House, would like more detail of in the forthcoming paperback editions. Now, the other side of the coin is this. Can Harry remember those particular incidents? Will he have to recall maybe the midwife, the nurse on duty? Who knows? But when you're paying, that's exactly what the publisher wants. And Harry's finding out the hard way that even him, with a scant recollection of what really went on with the birth of his own children, is going to have to dig deep to make sure those stories truly stand up. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.